This is Chris Penrose. I'm very excited to be with you today to give you an update on our latest report on AI trends in telecom. We've seen some pretty interesting trends year over year, and a couple of the ones that jump out to me was that we're seeing telcos really move out of doing POCs into full production behind their AI and generative AI use cases. And what they're also seeing is a real value and return on that investment, right? The ROI has always been a discussion point, and we're seeing in the survey that 77% of telcos are saying they're seeing a positive ROI on the cost savings side, and 84% saying that it's actually helping them on revenue generation. So I think that's a really exciting trend to see happening. Another big thing we saw different year over year is a lot more focus on how AI and generative AI is being applied to the network itself. And then I think the final piece is that we added an entire section this year around generative AI and the journey on specifically about where telcos were at with regard to the deployment of Gen AI. And we're seeing almost half of them are in production around generative AI. But the most exciting and interesting thing was that they intend to bring generative AI services to their customers in the marketplace, and 84% of telcos saying that they have an intention to do that. So I think what's exciting is that the telcos really are leading, as far as vertical industries and beginning to apply these technologies because there's so much opportunity for them to transform their own internal operations. Customer experience has always been the number one use case that we've seen out there for where telcos were leaning, but more and more the network planning and field operations is a big place where they're applying these technologies. We're also seeing this opportunity around how do we streamline, and get more personalized around marketing and accelerate the sales process and even apply it into spaces like legal and supply chain. So the exciting part is that, again, telcos are really almost every telco that took the survey is actually using AI or generative AI in some form or fashion. But these are the most popular places where we're seeing this play out. And I think that the one thing that came across loudly was I think 60% now are saying that employee efficiency is the number one benefit that they're seeing from applying AI inside their companies. We did see a big spike year over year, though, in the move from proprietary models toward open source. In fact, it went up, up to 40% of the telcos are now using open source models. And I think a lot of that has to do with as they're moving out of POCs into production, how do they create the most cost effective, way to deliver these services at scale, and they're very interested. The open source models are continuing to get more and more powerful, more and more capable, and so they see a lot of opportunity on that front. We're also seeing more telcos actually build up AI centers of excellences, and so I think we're now up to saw 10% lift year over year in those saying they want to build it themselves. And so how do they upskill their own internal employees to take advantage of all the amazing capabilities to apply this in a unique way across their business to give them differentiation and potentially help them create some new services in the marketplace. And so I think more and more we're seeing telcos lean into helping train and advance their own capabilities, but also look to those trusted partners that can truly deploy these solutions at scale so they can get the optimal impact for their business. So one of the places we went deeper this year was talking and asking several questions about the applicability of AI and generative AI in the network itself. We announced at NVIDIA, we were part of what we call the AI RAN Alliance. We announced that at last Mobile World Congress. And it really was pulling together telcos themselves, but key ecosystem partners to really look at three major things. One, how can we apply AI to the network itself to make it more performant, to provide a better experience, so there's work underway on that, and then the second big area is how do we apply AI and generative AI and the RAN all on a common set of infrastructure, right? So this is historically networks have been proprietary and built purpose built to do what they do, but it means that they are designed for the peak. And when you have an underutilized network in the evenings, there's an opportunity to think about how can we redeploy that compute to do other things like AI and generative AI. So there's a big working group as part of this to say how can we apply and the ability to have the ultimate utilization of our compute asset. And about 53% of the respondents indicated they were very interested in looking at how to go and co-locate RAN and AI services on infrastructure. Another 53% said, how can they apply AI to spectral efficiency, which was back on the first thing we said. And then the last piece around AI RAN is about how do we support all these AI applications that are going to come across the network for the future as we're moving toward inferencing at scale, as we're moving into all these different AI applications. How do we best design the networks to support all these different AI applications that have different needs? Whether I'm doing, building a business plan or whether I'm supporting a customer care agent, very, very different needs about how quickly these need to respond. So these are all the places where we dug in, and we saw very positive, trends coming out of the survey of interest at 50% or more from telcos to lean into all those areas. One thing I'd say in closing is it's just the pace of innovation that we are seeing is unprecedented. I think we've never seen a technology such as generative AI move so quickly and being adopted so widely. Every single part of a telco has the opportunity to be reimagined with generative AI, and we're also seeing an incredible opportunity to drive new monetization for telcos in the marketplace by applying these AI services into the market to serve their countries, to serve their governments, to serve their businesses, to serve the startup community, and to serve their end consumers. So, what I would recommend right now, as I always do, is that the most important thing is to be leaning in now, working closely to try to invest in making sure that you have the right infrastructure, you've got the right software, and you've got the right skills to go unlock all these opportunities for yourself and for the market.